short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain for American consumers.
We may have to deal with that in the short term.
Short-term and temporary.
Temporary short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain. We have to focus on the short-term.
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 Short-term and long-term.
Short-term blip.
Hopefully this is a short-term pain. Short-term is highly outweighed of the long-term benefits.
Some short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain.
But I'm, Jackie, in no doubt at all about your responsibility in this. And 2 million of us on the streets of London told you so at the time. And for you now to try and wash your hands of your share of the responsibility, I'm afraid that's a spot that will not out. All the perfumes of Arabia will not expunge that spot.
And all of your poetry, George, doesn't prevent people from being murdered and massacred in Iraq and Syria at the moment. I'm not washing my hands of what happened in the past.
You killed a million people in Iraq.
That is a separate...
You killed 1 million people in Iraq. It's incredible that you have the brass neck to be sitting here now urging another Iraq war.
George,
after
if
what
I was
you've
still
already
in
done.
Parliament, I would be there tomorrow, living up to my responsibility to answer the call of the Iraqi government and people to help to support them. And the fact that you aren't is something that you will have to live with.
Let me ask a final question to you, George. If not bombing, if not intervention, how do we deal with this cancer?
Give Iraq the weapons that it's already paid for but haven't been delivered. Strengthen the Peshmerga. Strengthen the governments of Iraq and Syria, and ask Saudi Arabia, Turkey and Iran to fight this battle. It's their battle, not ours.
Is decimating the radical Iranian regime's military in a way the world has never seen before. Never before has a modern, capable military, which Iran used to have, been so quickly destroyed and made combat ineffective. Devastated. We said it would not be a fair fight, and it has not been. As I stated during our first press conference on day 2, that was 10 short days ago, the combination of the world's 2 most powerful air forces is unprecedented and unbeatable. Between our air force and that of the Israelis, over 15,000 enemy targets have been struck. That's well over 1,000 a day. No other combination of countries in the world can do that. So today, as we speak, we fly over the top of Iran and Tehran. Fighters and bombers all day picking targets as they choose. As our intelligence gets better and better and more refined. Looking up, the IRGC and Iranian regime sees only 2 things on the side of aircraft: the Stars and Stripes and the Star of David. The evil regime's worst nightmare. Iran has no air defenses. Iran has no air force. Iran has no navy. Their missiles, their missile launchers and drones being destroyed or shot out of the sky. Their missile volume is down 90%. Their one-way attack drones yesterday, down 95%. And as the world is seeing, they are exercising sheer desperation in the Straits of Hormuz. Something we're dealing with, we have been dealing with it, and don't need to worry about it. We're on plan to defeat, destroy, disable all of their meaningful military capabilities at a pace the world has never seen before.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain for American consumers.
We may have to deal with that in the short term.
Short-term and temporary.
Temporary short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain. We have to focus on.
Well, everybody, short-term pain for the long-term gain. Pretty amazing words there, and probably a very difficult week for people that are gassing up their car. But anyway, we're going to get right into it. You know why you're here. Scott Ritter, amazing geopolitical analyst. Also, Scott is a former U.S. Marine Corps intelligence officer and UN weapons inspector. Wanted to say that just recently watched Scott's video this morning with Cyrus Jansen. Very, very good video if you haven't checked that out. And I have to also commend Scott about something interesting. Scott, your video that we did about 14 months ago has ended up being #1 on my channel as well. So it's the most watched video on our channel. But anyway, let's jump right into this, Scott. And thank you so much for taking the time this morning. Thank you.
It must be because of my chiseled good looks. Who knows? But
I don't know if you saw the photo that I used on my thumbnail, but I got to tell you, you're looking pretty handsome there, sir.
Hey, Photoshop, right. Baby, can do anything. It's amazing.
Well, Scott, let's jump right into this. My first concern, and I think everyone's concern, is what's going to happen with oil here. I mean, it's unstoppable right now.
I mean, we're looking at, I don't think the oil market's ever going to be the same after this. You know, we've seen a vulnerability now become manifest that, you know, people in the past had only speculated about, but now it's reality, the restriction on the Strait of Hormuz. And, you know, people are taking a hit right now. So it means that at a minimum, people are going to have to reconsider the whole concept of, you know, shipping oil through the Strait of Hormuz. We might be looking at in the future pipelines going into the Red Sea. We know Saudi Arabia has been working on that. You know, and for nations like Kuwait, you know, maybe a similar arrangement can be made, because this conflict, we don't know how it's going to end, first of all, but I don't believe it's going to end with the strategic defeat of Iran. I see the United States. I mean, Pete Hegseth can sit there and, you know, pontificate about the prowess of the United States military, but every night we see the missiles still raining down on Tel Aviv, on Haifa, on Israel, on the Gulf Arab states. You know, so he hasn't solved that problem, and you know, Strait of Hormuz continues to be, you know, have restricted access. Apparently, it's Iran that decides who goes through the Strait of Hormuz, and not the United States. You know, Hegseth didn't solve that one, but they haven't changed the regime. You can kill as many people as you want to, but the fact is, Iran is a very resilient nation with, you know, institutions in place. The bombing is not destroying institutions. The bombing is just killing people, murdering people, and you know, when you have to level a city block to get the person that you want, killing hundreds of people, it just shows the absolute depravity of the forces involved. So, you know, again, Hegseth thinks he's up there talking about, you know, things that make America look good. It makes America look evil. And there will be long-term consequences for this. The other reality is that the missile defense systems of the United States don't work. Neither do those of Israel. And if you're China and North Korea, you've suddenly realized that you own the United States now. I mean, in any future conflict, the United States has shown an absolute weakness. But on top of that, 1,000 targets a day. Hey, Pete, I used to do this for a living, pal. I'm here to tell you right now, about 90% of what you're hitting are empty buildings. I just know the reality of targeting. You are making stuff up. You have people out there right now desperately scouring for things to hit. You haven't done the research. You end up hitting a lot of things that have civilian connotation. It would make you a war criminal because you're supposed to do the distinction before you bomb. It's a requirement of the art of war. I mean, it's in our law manual. Oh, that's right. The one that you say we don't abide by anymore because those rules of engagement get in our way. Well, Pete, it just, again, solidifies your status as a war criminal. There will be justice. You are going to be punished for the role that you played in slaughtering 175 Iranian children and murdering thousands of other Iranians. This is on you, Pete. You're the one who got rid of the institutions that would double check the targets to make sure that we didn't hit a school. Had you not dissolved the civilian harm mitigation response team back in March of 2025, had you kept that in as was required by the directive, we wouldn't have killed those kids, and our targeting would be lower. The numbers don't impress, Pete. The numbers don't impress. The results impress, and the reality is your results suck. I mean, why do you have people saying short-term pain? Why do you have people saying short-term pain if you're so damn dominant? It means there's pain. And so now you have people out there, and we know this isn't sound analysis. This is simple propaganda because of the way it's repeated over and over and over again by people reading off the same script, a script written by the same people who write your damn script, Pete. So, no, this war is not going well for the United States, and therefore it's not going well for the global energy security posture. Oil will never be the same after this. You're not going to be able to ensure shipping going through the Strait of Hormuz the way that you used to. And we still don't know how this plays out. We haven't got, hopefully we can get an off-ramp. I'm hopeful that, Pete's out there pontificating. It just means he's going to be fired. Pete doesn't understand how stupid he is. This is how stupid Pete is. He's out there cheerleading for a war we already lost. And so the president of the United States, who will not allow himself to be painted with Pete's incompetence, is going to fire Pete Hegseth. The war is going to be blamed on Pete. Pete lied to him. Pete misled him. Pete was a little this, a little too much that, and Pete's gone. But when this happens, we don't know. There's still, we are trapped by Pete's mouth and the president's stupidity. How we get an off-ramp, I'm hopeful Russia and China can play a role in this. But in the meantime, we have escalation. We have Israel, starting to strike energy targets, which means Iran is going to retaliate with upping its energy attacks. And if the decision is made to seek to diminish Iran's ability to extract oil, I can guarantee you that all the energy producers in the region will likewise suffer. You see them already doing damage mitigation. Kuwait shutting down shutting down oil production. That's a long process that requires, maintenance of the oil fields, getting pressures done properly and everything. So the hope is that down the road you can bring it back up without, destroying too much of your proven oil reserves. Qatar has stopped the liquefaction of natural gas, and you're going to see the United Arab Emirates start to do stuff too because they're paying a price right now. They're getting hammered. Saudi Arabia's got to take a look at what's going to be happening to them. We're talking about gutting an important part of the global energy production, posture. And again, oil will never be the same after this. I don't know if we're ever going to see oil drop down to where it needs to be. The instability right now is manifest, and we're going to pay a price. I mean, this. What is today? I keep forgetting. Today is what, Wednesday?
Wednesday, 18th of March.
On not this Monday, but a week ago Monday. Yeah. I filled up my gas tank, and it was $3.11 a gallon. I'm not a guy that drives one of those fancy cars and needs a super. I do the 87, octane because I just have a normal car. But like most Americans, by the way. And today I went to fill it up again, and it was $3.79 a gallon. So just in the space of a little more than a week, we've seen the price go up, and this is just marine math, but that would tell me 68 cents a gallon. And it's going to get worse. But the real problem comes with diesel. If we start to see diesel getting priced out of economic logic or not available, truckers, I mean, if truckers have to make a living, then the people who use trucks have to make a living. And basically there's a foundational expense associated with driving a big rig from point A to point B. And it's all priced into the goods they carry, which then is transferred to us as the consumer. So, when we go to the store, we're paying a certain amount of money for the food that's in the store. That food is priced based upon the cost of producing it, packaging it, shipping it, and selling it, and all the profit margins associated. If the price of diesel goes up, that gets factored in, and suddenly everything gets more expensive. And at some point in time, the supply chain is going to break down, where people who make a living say, "Well, we can't make a living. We're losing money on this proposition." So they stop, and then the system falls apart, and all the things that we take granted, that are available in stores at reasonable pricing. A, the pricing will no longer be reasonable, and B, it'll stop not being available. And that's a lifestyle adjustment too. I don't think the American people have reflected on how vulnerable we are to that kind of disruption. We just take it for granted. We hop in our cars, because we all live in suburban neighborhoods. Not we all, but most of us live in suburban neighborhoods where you can't walk to the store. The store's like 5 miles away. That's okay. Just hop in your car. Got that gasoline, you turn on the engine, you drive 5 miles, you go do your shopping. Everything's convenient because it's all brought to you in that location. And then you come home and you put it in your refrigerator and you stock your shelves. And ain't life easy? Life's going to get a lot more difficult when A, the gas costs a lot of money, and B, when you go to these stores, the shelves are empty. And there is no plan B. Sorry, you're the one it's like me. There is no plan B. If this system fails, I'm screwed. I'm in the middle of nowhere now, literally in the middle of nowhere. If I can't have gas to drive my car, I got to start walking. I mean, it's going to take me all day just to walk to, the nearest, store and then to shop and then bring it back. We have no clue. This is the short-term pain for long-term gain. What long-term gain? We're looking at the collapse of the global economy. Where's the gain? Do they not understand that Iran has won this war? That we're not getting rid of the regime? The regime will continue to exist, that we will quit before they quit. That's the reality. And the consequences of this are going to be manifest. It's not just going to be energy security. It's our military posture. There is a better than 90% chance that when this war ends, the United States will be evicted from the Middle East, not only by Iran's victory, but also because the Gulf Arab nations have lost confidence in the United States. We can't protect them. And we've lied to them. We've deceived them. We promised them this missile defense umbrella that doesn't work. We've made them buy billions of dollars worth of missile interception equipment that doesn't work. The Iranians right now are deploying missiles. I don't know if people are watching the videos. These babies maneuver right through the defense shield. I mean, it's actually beautiful to watch. This warhead come in and maneuver, and the interceptors miss it, and it goes right through, and then it comes down and hits the target. And as it comes down to the target, you see it making the adjustments because it knows what it wants to hit, and it sits there, goes boom, 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 bam, got it. It's a thing of beauty. And there's nothing we can do to stop it. Literally nothing we could do to stop it. And now the Gulf Arab nations have realized that they've bought into this false notion. And the other thing is, what we can do is replenish their stockpiles, but we're stripping. I mean, again, imagine being South Korea, and you wake up one morning and America says, well, we're going to put the THAAD system on your soil. I don't want to put the THAAD system on my soil. That'll make me a target for China and North Korea. They'll be very angry. I don't want to do that. I want good relations. No, we're putting the THAAD there. It's good for you. Daddy says best. Don't worry. The THAAD, the Patriot, we give you this umbrella. You're going to be invincible, baby. Invincible. Trust me. America's here for you. We don't want it. You're going to get it. Okay. And then the Chinese go, we really don't like that. So we're going to build and move all our missiles around, aiming right South Korea. The Chinese are aiming missiles at us now. Don't worry. You got the THAAD, you got the Patriot, you got America. We're here. But the North Koreans are building new missiles. We got it, baby. We're America. We're awesome. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, what problem in the Middle East? Israel needs THAADs because all their radars are blown up. Just a second. Yeah, pull all the THAADs out of South Korea, send them to pull the Patriots out of Japan. And the South Koreans are like, wait a minute. You pissed off the Chinese and the North Koreans. You brought a lot of missiles in. You promised us missile defense, and you just took it all away without even coordinating with us. That's literally what just happened. That's literally what just happened. And we did it to help Israel, not the Gulf Arab states. So the Gulf Arab states are going, man, you screw all your allies. And the Ukrainians are going, yeah, let me tell you about it, how they screw you. Nobody wants to be our ally after this. We're the worst. Look at Europe right now. I mean, hey guys, we need help with the opening the Strait of Hormuz. Nah, sorry, not our war. Don't want to have anything to do with it. Well, that may have sunk NATO, which actually is the silver lining in the cloud. But the point is, we are looking at a world that's going to be transformed by this conflict. And I will remind you, it was a war of choice. We didn't have to go to war. There was no reason for us to go to war. And this is a war that is changing the world, but also change American politics too. Because I do think, again, I mean, there's a slim chance that Trump pulls off, because the American people are fundamentally the dumbest people in the world about everything, about the world, and frankly, about themselves. Donald Trump sold us a bill of goods. I mean, what choice did we have? We had Kamala Harris, who was selling us nuclear war with Russia, and we had Donald Trump, who said, hey, vote for me, and I believe in peace. And you're like, well, we got nuclear war. That sucks. Donald Trump, he's a con man, a liar, orange-faced bastard, but he's the only one saying, I'm promoting peace. I don't want wars. I don't want forever wars. I want this. So, yeah, okay. Vote for you. And now look at us. We're in the war he promised he wouldn't deliver. Now, he may be able to get something. The Russians may be able to cook up some sort of scheme where he could declare himself to be the greatest peacemaker ever. Some grand bargain where, we compel Ukraine into accepting conflict termination on Russia's terms. And, we can, bring an end to this war, but get a nuclear deal out of it with Iran. And then the president can say, it was because of me. I started this war to make peace possible. And now I'm bringing the boys home. And the American people normally would say, it's all a con. You lost. But the American people are stupid. We have enough mouth breathers that constitute the MAGA base. They'll go, oh, Donald Trump's the greatest thing that ever sliced bread. Sliced bread, Donald Trump's better than sliced bread. And they'll say this is genius, and maybe they'll continue to vote for the guy. But the bottom line is we're getting our asses kicked, and the world's paying the price.
Scott, you mentioned the GCC countries. So Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and more. What's the future hold for these countries now after this is all over?
Well, if this conflict doesn't end, not much. I mean, let's just be brutally honest here. Every one of those nations you mentioned are ruled by fat, corrupt men who haven't worked an honest day's labor in their life. And they live off the revenue generated by their oil. And they trickle some of that down to keep their fellow Arabs happy. But the United Arab Emirates, I mean, everybody's like, they're the Sparta of the Middle East. Bullshit. Spartans fought for Spartan. I mean, whatever you thought of Sparta, when you pulled apart the Spartan army, they were all Spartan men. You pull apart the United Arab Emirates army, and 85% of them are Pakistani. It's like, dude, can't you guys fight for yourselves? No, they don't know how to fight. They don't want to fight. Dig a ditch in the UAE. So we got to dig a ditch across the street. You won't find a single Emirati digging a ditch. They'll be sitting up there sniffing perfume and sitting in air conditioning and doing whatever the hell they do, planning their next pedophile trip to someplace, because they're all just a bunch of degenerates. Because that's what happens when you have unlimited amount of money and nothing to spend it on. These are not good people. There's a handful. Every once in a while, you get the one that says, I feel guilty, so I'm going to build the Louvre in the Middle East because I'm such a great person. You're building it because you're trying to attract financial business to keep yourself stable. It's not about your love of art. It's just you feel guilty for raping your Filipino housemaid, because that's what you do when you're a rich Arab. You bring in the Filipinos, you bring in the Thais, and you rape their women, and you bring in the men and you abuse them, you murder them. Look at that when they did the World Cup. What happened there? All the labor abuses and all. These aren't good people. This is why I told General Matt Caulfield at the beginning of Desert Storm, when it was still Desert Shield, I said, we're fighting the wrong Arabs. We should be allied with Iraq. The Iraqis are the good Arabs. You know why they're good? Because they actually do their own work. The Iraqis are out there rolling up their sleeves, doing their own work. Yes, sure, they hired expatriates. Everybody does. You have manpower shortage and all that stuff. But the bottom line is the Iraqis, if they needed a ditch dug, they'd be all out there digging that ditch. The Iraqi men, they worked their butts off. The Iraqi army was Iraqi soldiers, Iraqi men. And they were manly. I mean, we beat them, but those bastards were brave. I mean, you got to give it to them. They're in a T-72 that's outgunned by an M1. You don't back down. You sit there and you fire your gun at maximum range, trying to engage the Americans, knowing that eventually they're going to kill you with something. And we did, but they didn't run away. These bastards in the Gulf, they run away. I remember trying to get them motivated to go up to liberate Kuwait after we did all the heavy lifting. And they just got scared. I mean, damn, one Iraqi artillery, bam, where's the Arabs? They're gone. They're gone. They're not brave. They're not brave at all. There's no courage there at all. And so they're going to collapse. If you take away their resources, these fat people, and I used to be invited to the Middle East a lot. I was invited to speak at Think. I will never be invited there again because of what I'm saying, but I don't care. I'll go to visit Iran any day of the week. I'll go visit Iraq any day of the week before I visit one of these pathetic nations again, because they are corrupt and they're the ones that made this happen. They're the ones that bought it. They should have said no to the United States years ago when we said we're going to create a Sunni-Shia split. They should have said, nope, we ain't doing that. Iran's our neighbor. We're going to learn to live in peace and harmony with the Iranians instead of buying into this notion that we're going to have permanent war in the Persian Gulf. Permanent war. That's what they bought into. And they didn't realize that we were doing that to gin up military sales. You see, you got to have permanent state of conflict. And then you say, you need these sexy weapons. And they go, wow, these are sexy weapons. We really need them. And they buy those sexy weapons. Then they find out they don't work, which you're finding out right now. So I think, Ernest Hemingway, who does the bell toll? The bell tolls for thee. And thee is the Gulf Arab states. I think many of them are vulnerable. This is going to be a game changer for them. I'm not saying that the House of Saud is going to fall tomorrow, but this is a wake-up call about their vulnerability. I think some of these houses may not survive much longer. I think Bahrain's definitely on shaky ground, and I think the United Arab Emirates is far more shaky. When the expatriates flee and the banking sector closes down, these guys are going to be sitting there with the tallest building in the world and nobody living in it. So good on them.
Scott, you have seen firsthand the damage that these bombs, missiles can do to a country. Of course, the internet's been down for a few weeks now in Iran. Minimal photos are coming out. What kind of destruction are we talking about here that the Americans and the Israelis have done to Iran? Can you just give us an idea? I mean, almost everybody in the chat has probably never even seen a building impacted by even a bullet, let alone a missile. But what kind of destruction has America done and Israel done to this country?
Well, we're bringing in some of the most destructive weapons available in the conventional arsenal. We do better than just about anybody. Russians pretty good at it. I think the Chinese might be good at it, but we never tested them. But we build bombs that go boom. When they go boom, they destroy. And we tailor these bombs to destroy certain things. So we can penetrate concrete, we can go underground, we can do all this stuff. And we're very good at that. But, you got to be careful about patting yourself on the back with the try. I'll give you an example, just drawn from experience. Mm-hmm. In Desert Storm, we were, one of the things we were targeted of doing on day one was to take out the Iraqi Scud capability. First of all, mobile launchers, we're supposed to do that, fixed arm launchers. But then we're also take out their missile production capabilities. And we had targets all over the place. We've been tracking them for a long time. We knew where they were. And so we began making things go boom, because that's what we do. We sent in this stuff, and we did airplanes, we sent in cruise missiles, and things went boom, 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 boom. Aren't we really good? Boom, 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 boom. And this stuff was destroyed. I went in as a weapons inspector afterwards, spent 7 years, investigating Iraqi missiles. And in the early years, we would go to the places that we made go boom. And I remember during the war, one of my jobs was to look at the places that went boom and go, did we destroy it sufficiently? If yes, it's off. If not, hit it again. Boom, 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 boom. Yay. Oh, we got it this time. Good. And you attack it away. And we did such a good job bringing them down. I mean, the same numbers you hear. Oh, we degraded 95% of the Iraqi ballistic missile production capabilities because we're good at making things go boom. And the Iraqis were like, yeah, okay. And when I was told by an Iraqi general afterwards, he said, Mr. Scott, you guys are really good at blowing up buildings. I mean, we ain't never seen anything like it. You made a lot of things go boom. You know what we're really good at? We're really good at pouring concrete. So after you made it go boom, we pour concrete and it sort of comes back. And he said, the difference is when you made it go boom, there was nothing inside that building. We evacuated everything. And when our concrete cures, we're putting that stuff back in the building and we'll be right back into business. And this is the point I'm trying to make. The Iranians have been preparing for this war for 20 years. I can guarantee you with 100% certainty that every time Iran builds a defense industrial facility, when they install the equipment, they have a rapid evacuation plan in place, which means that that big computer-controlled numeric controlled lathe that they put in there isn't in there so hard that it can't be moved. Nope. You could ding, 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 take the bolts, lift it, put it on a truck, and off it goes into a hide site in the middle of the mountain where it sits down in a storage facility, and they'll be sitting there making sure dust is off of it and all, keep it in pristine working condition. They may even have electricity there so they can keep it powered up so that the systems don't, degrade over time. There's nothing in these buildings we're bombing. So 1,000 points of, points on a map going boom every day, Pete. You're not killing anything. And when this war ends, the Iranians will pour concrete and they will rebuild what we've been destroying, and they will put everything back in, and they will be back up to about 90% of what they were when this thing started. That's the truth. Iran will recover from this war far quicker than we will. We're expending the totality of our long-range precision strike weaponry. It was estimated that we had around 600 Tomahawk missiles loaded up on the Navy outside of Iran. And it's also estimated that we fired about 600 of them. So we don't have any more. And so now we got to get reloaded. But the facility in the Middle East is no longer available to us because it went boom thanks to Iran. Now we have to go to Crete or go back to the United States. And we have a couple thousand of these in storage, so we'll put 600 more on there and send it out. This war's not going to end, so we'll fire 600 more. The bottom line is, by the time this war is done, we'll have cycled through more than 50% of our Tomahawk capability and lost this war. Now imagine if you're Chinese and you're going, Taiwan. Yeah, I don't know if we want to do Taiwan because the United States got a lot of Tomahawk missiles. Hell, we had the admiral tell us how many Tomahawk missiles he had. Now the Taiwanese are going, or the Chinese are going, well, they have 50% less, and they didn't do anything. We're not so worried about that. The joint standoff munitions that the B-52s and the B-2s and the B-1s and everybody's firing, we're cycling through about 60 to 80% of those. When this war ends, we will have no long-range strike capability, and we don't have the ability to produce it. The president sat there and said, I've talked to defense industry, and we're going to start producing more. Really? Has Congress passed that budget? Last time I checked, they haven't. And that defense industry isn't in the business of doing things out of an act of kindness. Lockheed Martin's not going to go, don't worry, Mr. President, we're going to spend $15 billion building infrastructure, and we just hope that Congress passes that money. No, they're not. And once they get the money, you got to go through site surveys. Where are you going to put the factory? You just don't. Where are you going to put the factory? You got to do site surveys. You got to get the land permits. Then you got to do, hazmat mitigation. I mean, all the things that go into that, power supply. Then you got to build the building to a specific standard. And you got to get the equipment that you haven't bought yet. So you got to order it, bring it in. You got to train the people to operate the equipment. They got to have security clearances. And here's the toughest part. You got to have the raw materials that comes in and gets turned into missiles. And you know what we use a lot of? Stuff that comes exclusively from China. And you know who isn't going to be thrilled about providing us all that stuff? China. The Chinese are sitting there going, wait a minute, so the timeout, America, you just fired all the weapons that we were concerned about. Thank you. We're firing at somebody else. And And now you want to rebuild your stockpile so you can threaten us again. But you need our help to do it. Now, you live in China. Are they stupid people? Are they the dumbest people on the planet? Are they people that go, yep, we'll do that. We'll give you what you need so you can build the weapons to threaten us. We'll do that. I don't think so. I don't think the Chinese got to where they are by being stupid. And so the president's just smoking dope, literally smoking dope. None of this is going to happen. None of it's going to happen. His words mean nothing. We have to talk about harsh reality. He has, short-term pain. Man, we are into long-term pain for no gain. That's the truth.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that clip. But where does China, when all of this is over or even midway through, is China, as you say, are they calculating? Are they thinking, okay, America may have lost its almighty military power? Are they going to be more dominant factor in the world? Your thoughts? Or is China just going to stay focused on business like they've been doing for the last 50 years?
Look, you're the Chinese expert. I'm not. I look at China from afar.
Right.
But this is my assessment. Now, you could get Carl Zhaw in here and call me an idiot and an asshole and an American who doesn't know shit about anything. That's fine. Carl, I agree. I'm an idiot. I'm an asshole, an American. I don't know shit about anything. But I imagine China didn't get to where it is by knee-jerk reactions. I imagine that China has a strategic plan, a long-term plan. And I imagine that plan is founded on the concept of stability, that when China starts building global supply chains and starts creating relationships, it does so on the premise that there will be stability, predictability. Now, this is also the Russian model. For all the people out there thinking that Russia is an agent of chaos, they're the opposite. Russia is an agent of stability because stability brings predictability. Predictability is the fuel that drives the Russian diplomatic engine. And I would say the Chinese are the same way. And so what's happening right now, yes, they can sit there and chuckle how they benefit, but this is not good for China. A lot of uncertainty comes out of this. First of all, there's been energy supply disruption. The Chinese, I would imagine, I can't speak for China. I wouldn't want to. Carl, you can jump in anytime you want to and speak for China on my behalf. But I would imagine that China wouldn't. I apologize. I'm not in a good mood right now. So
we're loving you. We're loving you, Scott. We're loving you. Everybody's loving you
because it's covering up for the fact that actually my heart is broken right now as an American. What's being done in the name of my country, in the name of my people. And when I say my people, I mean not that I'm the leader of anybody, but I'm part of a collective known as the population of the United States of America. And the only thing that brings us together, is as Tom Hanks said in the movie Bridge of Spies, is the rule book. That's it. We all come from different places. And the only thing that we have in common is the rule book. And the rule book is the Constitution. And I'm watching the constitutional republic that I love and cherish and was willing and still am willing to give my life to collapse. We don't exist anymore. It doesn't exist. Maybe it can be resurrected. I don't know. It's becoming hard. It's like, when a body goes down, his heart stops beating. The sooner you do CPR, the better chance you have of bringing them up. But man, that corpse been laying there for a while and ain't nobody putting any compressions on the chest. I think America might be dead. And it saddens me. Because we're not a constitutional. We're governed by a dictatorship. He said he's a dictator. Donald Trump has said right out in the World Economic Forum, I am a dictator. He also says the Constitution doesn't matter. The rule of law doesn't matter to me. I believe in my own personal morality. Epstein morality. I don't know, man. It's not making me confident. And the guy is dumber than dirt. Literally is one of the dumbest people to walk the face of the earth. He's a con man. Many people fell to the con. Me, I suffer from TDS. Fuck you, TDS. Fuck you. I'm sorry. I know that maybe in China they'll beep this out and you'll get in trouble. But fuck you and your TDS. Really. I mean, it's just Trump derangement syndrome. What the hell do you think's happening? Sanity? Trump is just. I mean,
Scott,
rainbows and unicorns. Anyways, we got distracted. But the point is, this country's gone to hell in a handbasket. If you say TDS, you don't understand the role the Constitution plays in defining who and what we are, then fuck you again, because you're not an American. Get the hell out. Leave. Because, no, stay. You're right. You're right. All you people that don't believe in the Constitution, stay. Because then at least we acknowledge we're not a constitutional republic. Then we have to change the name, the United States of assholes, or so, United States of war criminals, the United States of anything. But don't say America, because America stands for something. We may not have been perfect in the implementation, but we stand for something. So, I'm a little upset. Now, before I went on that thing, we were talking about China. China, I believe, wants stability. They didn't want to be as dependent upon Russian energy as they're going to have to be now. I think China wanted to diversify energy. Nobody who has the size of the economy that China has puts all their eggs in one basket. And so China was looking for diversity. They really like that Iranian energy. They'll buy. They continue to buy. They surpassed us as buying more Saudi oil than anybody. They've got a huge appetite for energy, and they were hoping to diversify as much as possible, just in case you get a hiccup. We don't have that oil anymore. Well, that's okay. Venezuela, but they were getting 9% from Venezuela. I mean, they even went out and built a $9 billion, nine's a magic number, a $9 billion refinery specifically geared to Venezuelan oil. And so people might say, why does China, because I think China is actually buying Venezuelan oil from the United States right now. People say, why would they do that? Well, they put a $9 billion investment in a refinery that can only use Venezuelan oil. So energy realities. But now they have to buy. They're signing contracts. You got the Chinese businesses that were intimidated by American sanctions said, well, we're not going to be buying that Russian oil. Well, they're buying that Russian oil. And here's the genius of the stupidity of China. Sorry, China, I don't mean to call you stupid, but you're dumber than frickin' dirt. Because Russia was willing to sell you oil at a steep discount. But now you got to come back to Russia. Now you're still going to get a discount because you're China, they're Russia. But you ain't getting the steep discount. You're paying more. And that's the reality all across the board. Everybody's paying more now. India. Oh, India, Modi. Yes, Mr. President, we will stop buying the Russian oil. They are very bad. Even though we're getting $23 a barrel. Now, India, now you can buy Russian oil. Oh, Russia, sell us oil. Yeah, $106 spot price, baby. Well, that's a lot of money. Yep. You don't have a choice now because you screwed us. So, and Russia's just sitting there going, I mean, you've seen that movie in Al Pacino's movie, Scarface, and where they're just sitting there and they're counting the money, and they're just like, "There's money." Oh man, more money. And Putin was sitting there one day, like me. Putin for a moment was like me. Oh no, no money in the wallet. It's empty. Oh, how do I pay my bills? Oh no. Suddenly they're just counting money because it's just rolling in. The central bank is like, hey, Mr. President, we had a money shortage. Not anymore. We're doing all right. Mr. President, our economy inflate. Nah, don't worry about it. Mr. President, it's the biggest gift in the world. But I will also tell you this: the Russians aren't happy. I mean, the short term gain. But the Russians. I
gotta send you that video.
The Russians believe in stability. This is unstable right now. This is not good business because what this is a boom or bust cycle. Right now they're booming. Yay, baby. But this can all end. If this is what you rely upon, the boom, when it goes bust, you're screwed. No, the Russians and the Chinese want that smooth, uncontroversial, predictable world to live in. And what's happening right now is the exact opposite of that. So I think the Chinese and the Russians are going to be very interested in getting this conflict over and getting on to what their strategic vision was. Wasn't to kick the hell out of America. Sorry, Carl. Not everybody wants to beat up America. Maybe everybody should, because shit, why not? We're down, kick us. But the point is, the Russians.
You're on fire today, man. You're on fire, man.
The Russians and the Chinese are looking for instance, Russia. Let me introduce you to the North-South Economic Corridor. St. Petersburg, Chabahar goes through Iran, and you need stability. That's Russia's thing, because if you get that north-south economic corridor going on, you don't have to put all your crap in St. Petersburg on boats. You go through the Baltic Sea, so you have the Finns and the Swedes sitting there, figuring out how they could screw you, and the Danes going, well, they come through here, we can do the British, go screw you guys. Go play in the Baltic Sea all you want. We're coming down through a rail corridor. It's going to take us Chabar straight over to India, and bam, we just saved billions of dollars in expenses, trillions of dollars over time, because, all that time it takes to sail around the seas, you're now doing it by rail. The Chinese, New Silk Road, they're sitting there pumping all the stuff out of Western China straight into Tehran. That's their thing. That's what they want. Both Russia and China are looking to develop the Eurasian landmass, the Eurasian Economic Union. This is the place of great growth potential. And you know who could play a central role in that? Iran. But Iran has to have sanctions lifted and has to actually stop getting blown up by Pete Hegseth. This is what Russia and China want. This is long-term stability. This is what makes them work. This is BRICS. BRICS is not a military alliance designed to take on the United States and all that. BRICS is an economic forum, an economic agreement where people come together in a multilateral, multipolar way, and they come together and they look for mutually beneficial ways of operating with one another. Hard to do when one of your BRICS members, Iran, is getting the crap pounded out of it. And because you built so many plans dependent upon Iran's existence as a member of BRICS, it throws everything into question. So they need this war to come to an end, and I believe they're going to be looking to get that war to come to an end. But China is looking at Taiwan right now differently. And I don't believe for a second the Chinese want to invade Taiwan. Not for a second. China wants Taiwan to be part of China because China views Taiwan as part of China. But again, the Chinese aren't stupid. Don't fix what ain't broke. Taiwan works. It works pretty well. So making it part of China doesn't have to mean come in and change everything. It might mean that in the morning you raise a different color flag and the kids sing one version of a Chinese song as opposed to a different version of a Chinese song. And you might have politicians that have to call Beijing every now and then and check in. All right. But the day-to-day business of Taiwan will be exactly the same it was. The economy will be what it was because that's what China wants. China wants to plug into that economy and bring that stuff over to China and do better. I think they just realized that they don't have to worry about a war with it anymore. All you have to do now is start talking to the Chinese going, hey, Ukraine. It's okay. I got another one for you. Listen to me carefully. United Arab Emirates. Oh, no. Yeah. We can go on. South Korea. Oh, no. Yeah, America's not here for you guys. America will abandon you. Why don't you hang out with Big Brother China and everything will be okay? And I think that's the direction we're going right now. I think this is good for China. The other thing is now China can start demilitarizing their South Pacific presence. I mean, they will always have those bases there, but everybody's been afraid of China because China's taken a very defensive posture because of the aggressiveness of the American counter. But now that it becomes apparent that the United States just simply isn't going to be there, we're going to retreat on Fortress America. China can do the world a favor to so many assholes in the chat. Yeah, welcome to my life. Every time I go to a chat, that fills up with assholes. And that's why my wife tells me, don't read the comments. Because, see, secretly, just so everybody understands, and I think Alex knows this, I'm an asshole too.
Yeah.
I'm one of the biggest assholes you've ever met in your life. And I am an alpha Marine who charges. I am the bull that goes after the red flag. I've been that way my entire life. I don't run away from a fight. I run straight into the fight, and I beat the living shit out of anybody who wants to fight. But I'm getting old, and I'm supposed to calm down. And my heart can't take the excitement anymore. My knees can't do the running anymore. My fists are full of arthritic fingers, so I might get in one punch and break everything. So my wife has told me to grow up and act my age, and I'm trying to. But that's why
Scott, are you still drinking Coca-Cola? Are you still drinking Coca-Cola?
I do, but today I've got a very busy day today, so I've gone over to Monster, and it's a monster-sized Monster. And believe me, by the end of the day, when I have four of these in me, I'm going to be bouncing off walls. But that's all right. That's what it takes to go through.
That comment, just to tell you, I have been reading some of the comments, and there's still a lot of people in denial here. And I'll just give it to you in a nutshell. People think that Pete and the American military should have this wrapped up in a week or two. This is what I've been reading. People are saying, "Oh, this should wrap up." Everybody uses this word. They've decimated them. They've obliterated them. Very powerful words coming out from the president of the United States, saying, we've eliminated everything. They have no control of their skies. They have no control of their waters. Their navy's gone. But every time you wake up, you in the morning and you open up the Al Jazeera live app, missiles landing in Bahrain, missiles landing in. Can the Iranians continue to actually stockpile missiles at this stage, or are they just going to go through their inventory?
Well, they're not building missiles right now. Remember those factories that used to build missiles? All the equipment has been pulled out of those factories. We're blowing up empty buildings. So they're not building missiles. But see, the Iranians have been preparing for this war for 20 years. So they've been stockpiling missiles. They still have a significant stockpile of older missiles. The Iranians used a lot of those in the early stages of this conflict to, again, it's a basic mathematical algorithm. You fire a missile, get 3 to 4 interceptors in response. Okay? You can fire another missile, get 3 to 4. So basically flood the zone with your older missiles and have everybody shoot their wad. And now you sit back and you start, after 2005, again, people need to understand the Iranians are some of those competent people on the planet. They're up there with the Chinese. Yes, Carl, I give China a compliment there. Okay, give me a break.
You're killing me today, man. You're just killing me today.
The Chinese and the Iranians, they like, you go and you look at these, international mathematics Olympics, and first place China. Close second place, Iran. Third place, China, followed by Iran in 4th, 5th, and 6th. 7th place, China. 8th place, China. 9th place, MIT. Let's look at the MIT. They're all Chinese. Okay. 3rd place, Caltech. Let's look at Caltech. They're all Iranians. So the smart people in America are Chinese and Iranians, and the smartest people in the world are the Chinese and the Iranians. They're out there doing. Meanwhile, Russia's back there going, "We are smart too." Yes, but you don't enter the competition. You're busy building the Oreshnik missile, which kicks ass. But the point is, America's sitting there going, "We're the best, we're the best, we're the best." But the guys that are the best are the ones doing the job. And Iran did the job. At the end of the 12-day war, people need to put this in your mind. The Iranians took the lessons learned from the 12-day war and immediately applied it to their missile defense technology. They had missiles already in development, and they paused the development, and they upgraded them to bring in interesting little things that allow them to defeat, such as missiles that can change trajectory in flight. Not trajectory, velocity. You can change trajectory too. Maneuvering missiles, that's something. So, you shoot a missile, it's on a ballistic trajectory, and the radars pick it up, and you try to intercept it. Well, what they do now is oh no, we changed the trajectory. Now the radar's screwed. The radar's trying to change it again. Oh no, how did you do that? You're Iranian. How did you do that? You guys can't do that. You only know how to use slingshots. Now you're telling me you have maneuvering rockets. And then they can go faster and slower and then faster again. And they maneuver once they release. And they have decoys that come out. And then they have cluster munitions. And all this stuff, they went boom, boom, boom. Get it all in there, stuff it up. And they produce different kinds of missiles. They have like 5 missiles that were upgraded, modified, or just brand new produced between June and now. And those missiles were stockpiled as much as they could. And that's what they're firing now. That doesn't mean they're out of missiles. It means they're at the stage right now where they have eliminated our ability to intercept missiles. And they are firing their stuff, and now they don't have to come in with 50 missiles. Understand, when you come in with 50 missiles, most of them get shot down because they're the older missiles. Now you're coming with like 6 missiles. They're all hitting the target. Nothing's getting shot down. That video, again, of the Iranian missile coming in, I'd love to see the radar track of that, because I'm thinking it changed velocity in addition to changing trajectory. That this thing is sitting there, it's like a boxer, you missed me here. And that missile's just sitting there doing the Muhammad Ali on it, and then boom, getting them in the end, knocking them out, then doing the dance. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That is Iran right now. They're kicking Pete Hegseth's ass. Pete Hegseth is bombing empty buildings. Everything's in the middle of a damn mountain. We're assassinating people by murdering hundreds to kill one. Do you really think that works, Pete? As an American, I'm telling you, it doesn't work. You want to make a fanatic? Kill his family. Now he has nothing to live for. And he's going to spend the rest of his life figuring out how to hunt you down. And I will tell you right now, when I put two military forces together on the battlefield, the force composed of military professionals who, once the battle begins, assume they're going to die. They're not suicidal, but they've given up hope. They don't wake up in the morning going, I hope I survive today. They wake up in the morning saying, how do I close with and destroy the enemy before he closes with and destroys me? And singularly focus on slaughtering them, getting in there and bayoneting them in their gut. As opposed to going, oh, let me take off my helmet and look, oh, look, little Martha, there with my darling wife. I hope I make it. You think that mindset's going to make it through the day? Because while you're sitting there thinking about going home, the other guy's thinking about how he's going to sneak up on you, bam, take you out. We're training a nation of frickin' fanatics right now. You think we're going to kill these people? We'll kill some. They're just going to sit there and come back and come back. Meanwhile, fat Americans are sitting there going, oh, no, I'm paying $3.79 a gallon. That's all we care about. We're not going to lose this war because we're losing people over there. We don't care. We don't care about our troops. It's all bullshit. Stickers on the back of the car, support your troops. Really, when's the last time we did the VA helping change a colostomy bag with a 23-year-old kid that has guts blown out because of a roadside bomb, because he was in a place that you didn't give a damn enough to stop sending him there before the government sent them there? You don't care about these troops. The drug addict on the street right now came home. His girlfriend left him. He's broke. Nobody will hire him. So he just does more and more drugs until he's just a guy on. I was an ambulance driver and a firefighter. I responded to these people. I responded to the homeless vets on the side of the road, freezing to death at night as they overdosed on heroin, and we had to take him to the VA hospital, and they said he's a frequent frickin' flyer and that he's not going to make it through the year. And sure enough, he does it. And they're the ones that have to sit there and hold his hand as he dies because his family isn't there anymore. That's the reality of the United States. Don't ever tell me the American people support the troops, because they don't. They support the notion of the troops as long as the troops are, as Pete Hegseth says, winning. But when they come home broken, and I'm telling you, every one of these guys, I tell them over and over again, do it right, guys. Do it right. Obey the rules, because killing is hard enough. You're going to spend the rest of your damn life looking in the mirror, second guessing yourself. Did I do the right thing? Did, man, that bomb I sent in there killed 400 people. Man, that bomb I sent in there killed 6 people, killed a family of 12. But if you can sit there and say, yes, but when I picked that target, I did scrub it in accordance with the Law of War manual. I did do my best to make sure that that was a good target, and so I can live with the fact that I did it right. This is why I hate war, because I did a war and I did it right. I did everything right. And I look in the mirror all the time and I go, damn, why did I do that? That's why I don't like war. But the people today now are cheerleading themselves, saying, oh, we're kicking ass, we're doing that. All you're doing is killing people, and you're going to lose. At least I can sit there and put the I served a Desert Storm sticker on my car and say, I'm a winner. I want to remind Pete, you're 0-3, buddy. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. Hey, Carl, 2-0. You say America don't win wars? Cool. Anyways, enough of that.
I'm loving our chat. Anyway, Scott, I know you're going to have to be on another show in a few minutes, so I'm going to let you get to that. I just want to say that on one of our other channels that we connected here, you've absolutely crushed the viewers on that live stream today as well. We have over 7,500 people watching. Absolutely amazing, guys. I've been away working on some projects, but myself and Cyrus will be doing a lot of these live streams. Scott, we're going to have you back soon, okay? I'm going to continue to bombard your email, and I know you're a busy guy, but man, were you on fire today? I don't know if it's the new energy drink that you're drinking, or you're just a guy that just wants to get this, very passionate about wanting to get this message out. But man, oh man, what an amazing hour that was. I really appreciate it, Scott.
Well, thanks for having me on. If people want to see more of this, you can go to scottritter.com and free of charge. That's my Substack page.
I did put that link in the description already, everybody. Yeah, it's sitting there.
Just so everybody knows, I'm leaving tomorrow for a trip. I'm going to Russia. And yes, there's a guy in there. Scott Ritter's a Russian agent. Hey, fuck you too. But
how do you read all these comments and talk at this?
I'm an intelligence officer, man. I have the ability to collect information at all times. I'm aware of what's happening outside my house. I'm aware of why my dogs are barking. I'm aware of what my cat's doing.
There he is again.
But
the guy showed up again. He said, "No Russian is bad. Scott Ritter is a Russian asset."
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's a compliment I'll take. But I'm not a Russian asset. I'm an American asset. And when I mean American asset, a constitutional asset, not an asset of the government. But I am an American ass. And some people can even say asshole. But if you like what I do, in this trip I'm doing, this is an important trip because two things are going to be discussed on this trip with some pretty senior level people in Russia. The first thing is an off-ramp, what role Russia can play in getting us out of this war. And we're going to talk about that and talk about U.S.-Russian relations and also talk about nuclear anarchy because we're living in a world without arms control now. And then the second thing, and this is perhaps the most interesting part, I can't get into it too much, but I am going to Chechnya. And the reason is that, the Chechens and the Russians fought two very, very bad wars in the 1990s, early 2000s. And we're talking stuff that just curls your hair. When I talked earlier, how do you create the ultimate killer? Kill his family, and families on both sides were killed. And yet today, the Chechens and the Russians are the closest friends and closest allies. And the question is, how did that happen? And that's the question I'm going to try to answer. What is the Chechen formula? How did Chechnya and Russia make peace? What had to happen? What kind of leadership was required? And then how can we capture that and apply that formula to Ukraine and Russia, and also now to Iran and the United States? I mean, these are the lessons of peace. Pete Hegseth can sit there and talk about war only once and blowing up 1,000 things. What I want to do is not just rebuild 1,000 homes, but I want to populate those 1,000 homes with people who are willing to live in peace with me despite what we did, despite the crimes that we did against them. And there is a formula there. There is, and it proves that humanity is much better when we are learning to live together in peace and harmony than we are trying. Somebody said once that war is the height of human accomplishment. No, war is the absolute worst of human accomplishment because it's about people killing people. The Chechens and the Russians have learned to live together in peace. I've been to Grozny. It's a beautiful city. At night, you think you're in Las Vegas with the amount of lights coming out of there. There's freedom. There's peace. That's the most important thing, peace. I've been to Shally and other places where in the wartime, there was so much hatred there because of, against the Russians and everything. Today, Russians can go to Shally restaurants, be invited in as their friends and colleagues and neighbors, and there's just no animosity. I mean, they've buried it. They've moved on. How did they do it? That's the question I'm going to try and capture and bring back. So if you guys want to support this, because I am an independent journalist. I don't take money from anybody except you, the people who say that, not the people who are saying, fuck you, Scott, you're a traitor, you're this, that, and the other thing. I understand. You guys don't want to pay. That's okay. I don't need your money. But if anybody believes that this is worth supporting, you can go to the donation page and you can make a donation. And I promise you this, that money will be used in support of a good cause like the one I'm getting ready to go on. I have another big trip planned in June with some really cool stuff happening. But it can't happen without support. So I would just say there, if people like what it is, please support it.
Now, Scott, they can find that donation on scottritter.com, right? I'm looking at the page right now.
And at the top of my Substack page, there's all the different things I do. And then right at the right end is a little tab called Donations. It's aptly named. And if you click it, it goes down and lists a number of the projects I have. And under each one's a donate button. They all take you to the same place. But the idea was that if you read something you like, you would go to it and click it. There it is, donations. I mean, look at that handsome guy. You're donating for my plastic surgery, for my tailor, for my eyeglasses. No, you're not. You'd be donating for the trips that I go on.
Okay, so we visit that by scottritter.com. You're gone for how long is how long are you gone for?
10 days. Okay. It's not an earth-shattering. I'll be back on March 30th. Yes, the Customs and Border Patrol, March 30th. I will come in and you can pull me aside, grab my passport, and interrogate me for 5 hours before you let me go home. But that's okay. That's the price you pay for doing this.
Scott, it's been an honor, a pleasure. And once again, I was talking with Cyrus yesterday. You guys had an amazing, I think it was about 30 minutes. That interview can be viewed at cyrusjansen.com, or sorry, Cyrus Jansen on YouTube. Congratulations to Cyrus as well for that journey to 1 million subscribers. And
really?
Already in the, yep,
Cyrus
he's hit a million.
I got to talk to Cyrus, man. I got 30,000 on my YouTube. I thought I was doing pretty good.
Get to work, Cyrus. Scott's looking for you.
No, I'm joking, man. All right. Thanks a lot, Alex. Good talking to you.
All right. You're going to Dialogue. What page are you going to now? Where are you heading
I think
to?
Nima, if he's waiting for me still, we'll find out.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thanks again, Scott. You take care. All
Thanks.
right.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Well, that was amazing, everybody. Thank you so much for viewing tonight. Just want to say thank you to Cyrus Jansen again, who's been a great supporter of my channel, Reporterfy Media. This weekend, again, we will have another live stream. It looks like we're going to schedule it on Sunday, around 9 p.m. Chinese time. That'll be 9 a.m. New York time. Cyrus and I usually sometimes have surprise guests, but we're going to unpack a lot of stuff for this weekend. We've been prepping for that. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Scott is heading over to another channel. If you guys are watching in the live stream here, you guys can drop a link to the channel that he'll be talking on. I know he's supposed to be on there a few minutes ago, so my apologies for that. You're welcome, everybody, for watching again. We crushed a record of over 7,500. That's nice number to come back, to these live streams. And we are putting a lot of time and attention into this stuff here. The live streams are going up a scale here, visually, engagement-wise. There's a lot of surprises coming. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And my buddy Cyrus Jansen, absolutely amazing, a guy to collaborate with. This YouTube community is very special. People like Scott Ritter. Again, visit scottritter.com. I highly recommend that people donate. And of course, somebody just asked where Angelo was. I recently saw Angelo on vacation when I was in Thailand recently. He's doing well. You can see him on the X platform. He has a big following, and Angelo Giuliano, and as well as Brian Berletic is still putting out amazing stuff. And of course, the Duran, Alexander Christoforou, and Makuris and Alex Christoforou, the three Alexes and the Cyrus. We had a live stream a few weeks back. Anyway, guys, I'm going to head out here. We're going to look at some beautiful landscape here. Nice shot of the city I'm in, which is Chongqing. And it's going to be great next week. It looks like I won't have to work all the behind the scenes stuff. You guys can actually enjoy an amazing we'll call it a new scene, a new set, and coming at you. Okay, guys, you guys take care. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.